Welcome to Wining and Dining with Jim White. It's the program devoted to introducing you to the people behind the eats and drinks you love. And I want to introduce you to a very good friend who has done so much to support and promote the restaurant industry, great chefs, and great causes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. From bestofguide.com, Tammany Stern is Tiffany, let me start over again. Tiffany Derry is in my head. Blah, 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 blah. Take two for the guy who speaks for a living. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Wining and Dining with Jim White. It's the program devoted to introducing you to the people who make the eats and drinks you love. I want to introduce you to a very good friend and someone who works harder than anyone I know to promote Dallas-Fort Worth restaurants and chefs and great causes. From bestofguide.com, Tammany Stern. Tammany, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's hard to tell when you're stuck in this room 18 hours a day. Hi.
Good morning, Jim. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
For those who don't know, who haven't been on your mailing list or been on your website, tell us a little bit in detail about bestofguide.com, and then we'll get in and break it down and talk about how you and your husband, Rob, got things going and tell the whole history, because it's a great service for the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Well, thank you, Jim. You know, I'm so blessed. Back in 1978, Rob's mother started a company out of the kitchen, and it was called Passbook Clubs of America. And that company grew from this little tiny book to a huge, large publication that was basically distributed through Fortune 500 companies, fundraising organizations. I think we were in just about every organization, fundraising from the Kidney Foundation, the Heart Association, the Diabetes Association, Children's Miracle Network, on and on. So we helped a lot of people through the sale of that publication. And we were in many markets throughout the country. And I actually learned so much being part of a family business. Rob was the president of the company, and of course, Mom was a dynamo. And God, I miss her every day. She was such a great role model. And so that's how I basically got started in the advertising industry.
And a Passbook, I remember, was a very coveted possession. People couldn't wait for the new one to come out every year. I had one, and was just, oh boy, I get to use these and get out to all the great restaurants and try places we hadn't been. And then at what point did you evolve into the bestofguide.com concept, which has been evolving ever since you launched it, really?
Thank you. Well, I got to tell you, I used to get the biggest kick whenever we would go out to different places, and we'd just be walking by people's cars, and I'd see this big, huge publication in the back seat of someone's automobile, and that just gave me the biggest thrill to see that big book. But basically, I flipped the model because that publication, like I said, was a fundraiser for many corporations. Used it when they moved here. JCPenney's, for example, when they moved the corporate offices here, they bought a lot of books and gave to their employees so they could get familiar with our city, because it had the best restaurants, it had the best retailers. We were actually the first hotels.com. Not realizing what we had. We had, oh my gosh, thousands and thousands of hotels that were 50% offers on availability throughout the whole country. We worked with Westin, Sheraton, Ramada Hotel Corporation. It was just fabulous. But when that company sold in August 1990, close to 91, we had non-competes, and I stayed out of the market for about 5 years, and you don't realize what you miss until you can't do that anymore. And I discovered I was really passionate about the hospitality industry. I love it with all my heart and soul. And so I went into a retail store we opened down by the Crescent called Pompeii, European Men's Clothing. We did that for 4 years, decided we'll live retail up to someone else. And at that time, decided to go back into advertising. And I did not want to do a large book. any longer. I saw the market changing, and there were so many offers, you'd never be able to use everything that was in that publication. So I turned it into the best of, meaning that I would be selective in a lot of the places that I would work with, and I would create a brand that would be the best of with restaurants and retailers and some travel. So now we do some print, we do some social media, we do text campaigns, email campaigns. We have a new app that we launched this past year we're very proud of, called BOG Rewards. And I highly encourage everyone to download that app because it has a lot more than the print publication has in it, because we can add to it on a daily basis. Excuse me,
yeah, sure.
Voice on a daily basis.
Let me just back up a little bit. You mentioned that it's what we would call in the media business a multiple platform opportunity. But can people, for instance, go to your website and sign up and say, I want to be a part of bestofguide.com and find out about your app and so forth? How do people access it if they haven't used Best of Guide, or maybe haven't gotten one of your great magazines in the mail?
Well, it's real easy. In fact, I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Let's find out how to do it.
I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Okay. If everyone's listening, please get your phone out, and I want you to text to 41411, and you're going to text BOG Rewards. That's all together, BOG Rewards, to 41411, and it'll give you the link, and you can download our app either for the iPhone or Android. It's available for both.
Okay.
And what's great is if you're listening and you have a special charity or some kind of special event that's coming up, I love to tell the story of our city. So whether it's a charity event, it's a wine dinner, or anything special that's going on, please reach out to me personally. And I'm going to give my email, which is Tammany, TAMMANY, STERN at bestofguide.com. Please reach out to me because I want to help as much as I can with everything that's going on in our city. And I actually like to attend all the events as well in person. It gives me great joy to go and see all our great chefs we have in our city, and to see everybody at these events that are supporting the great causes. There's so many. And I highly suggest that if you don't participate in the food and wine festivals that happen in our city and all the great causes, this is a new year. Get out and go enjoy. Do something. Make a difference.
You're not living right if you're not going to food and wine events in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Amen.
So, Tammany, when they go to, when they text 41411, see, and I wrote all of this down like you requested, and then text BOG Rewards, and they download the Best of Guide app, what do they get? What kind of services are on the app, and what are they going to learn about? I know you talked about restaurant events and charity events and things like that, but how can they use the Best of Guide app?
Well, when they download the app, they're going to be they're going to be very surprised, actually, that they'll be able to go to these restaurants and the retailers, and they'll be able to receive a one-time invitation, so to speak, of 25% off the entire food guest check up to 6 persons. And that's a very good value. I would equate that to like Restaurant Week that benefits North Texas Food Bank, that generally happens in August. But this is ongoing, and the guides are sent out. It's kind of selectively. I give certain zip codes that it goes to. We've been blessed to work with some partners for many years, the Dallas Summer Musicals and the Dallas Mavericks. We send this guide out to the Mavericks box holders. It goes to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and it also goes to people that have a certain income and live in the zip codes that we're targeting. So it's a great benefit for anyone that is listening to me to be able to download this app and also enjoy the offers that we we are able to give from all the restaurants. And some of the restaurants are some of your most popular places in the city, like Texas de Brazil, Nobu, all the Cantina Laredo locations, the Blue Goose locations, the Matitos restaurants, Lavendo French restaurant. We work with El Calabrese, Howard Wang's. We work with Dive Coastal, DeLuca, Gacho Pizza, which is a very new concept. If you haven't tried it, you should try their pizza. It's really great pizza, and it's like Texas de Brazil. Go hungry, because they'll keep bringing the pizza until you say quit.
Do they have a little disc that you can turn over that's red or green? Like
They do. They do. They have that red and that green, and but their pizzas are quite. I've never had pizza that with the flavors that they are able to create at that restaurant. They just opened the new one in the Design District, which is close here in Dallas. They have a location in South Lake, and they're also going to be doing a Fort Worth location. They're going to expand pretty quickly.
Wow, that's great. Great to hear. Tammany Stern, bestofguide.com. And by the way, they're watching you too. So they're not just listening to you, they're watching you. So watch what you say, Tammany.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jim.
I kind of touched on this when we got started, but and you mentioned it too about attending events, but I think you support every single food and wine and charity event in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Just let us know. I mean, from your heart. I know you're always speaking with passion and conviction, but why are these events important to us culturally and otherwise in Dallas-Fort Worth?
Well, I'm a Southern girl, Jim. I was reared in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I was brought up from a very early age that you give back. And I feel like sometimes I don't do enough, but it does make my heart so happy to be able to feel like I'm making a small difference in some way with all the events that happen in our city, especially in hospitality. I'm very passionate about the Greater Dallas Restaurant Association, and I've been blessed and honored to serve on that board for off and on over 10 years. And people, I don't think, realize a lot of the good that happens through the Restaurant Association. You receive a lot of benefits through the association, and we also raise funds on an annual basis in order to support our future chefs, our culinary children in the schools to further their education. We give them at the end of the year scholarships so they can continue and have the same passion and go out into the world and make their dreams come true.
Yeah, the Restaurant Association is such an important part, and it does so much to not only help the restaurants and the restaurateur, but also the restaurant customers, because they're involved in so many things legislatively in Austin and so forth to make sure that standards are met and people are operating on a good, upstanding, consistent scale, and just lots of other different things. So
absolutely.
So you're also involved in the fabulous La Dame d'Escoffier group. If I'm not mistaken, aren't you a member of that organization, or do I just see you at all of their events?
I love that organization. I have not been asked to be a member.
Well, okay,
of that organization.
La Dame's Tammany is here. You need to invite her.
I would love to be a part of that organization as well. They're just a bunch of wonderful, wonderful women that are part of that group. Paula Lambert, Lisa Lavender, Sharon Van Meter. These are women that are so strong, and I look up to them very much, and they're passionate. They're also chefs, and they just make a huge difference. They're great role models.
They are. Do you cook? Do you cook at home?
Oh my God, do I cook?
Ah.
Yes, I love to cook. I wish I had more time to cook. It's kind of limited to the weekends for me now, but Sundays are very special days for our family, and I have two sons that are here in Dallas still, and family is growing. I am waiting for my fourth grandchild to be born actually this month. So as far as cooking, I love to cook, and I cook a lot of Southern dishes. Although it's a new year, I'm going to try to not cook with so much cream and butter, but I do love butter and garlic, and but healthy is also very important. But I love to cook the Southern specialties on the weekend.
I know you and Tiffany Derry were exchanging some tips and ideas on Southern cooking when you guested with us as guest gourmet in her appearance. So are there any real specialities, as they say, things that you like to prepare, and maybe some tips that you can give our viewers and listeners from the Southern cuisine?
Well, I tell you, for moms that cook a lot, I mean, that work during the week and don't have a lot of time to cook, like myself now, I go out and dine in a lot of the restaurants and try them out, of course, during the week. But on the weekend, it's easy just to grill up a lot of meats, and then you can whip up some vegetables really quickly and make a salad, and you can have a meal within 20 minutes really easily.
Yeah. Are you using the sous vide or the Instant Pot, these things that have just sort of become phenomenons in the kitchen?
No, I really don't use those things. If I want to slow cook some meats or something, I'll just put it in the oven under 200, 225. Make sure that you have some liquid in there so it doesn't burn the bottom, of course.
Yeah.
And I'll just cook it overnight. But my really big thing is grilling now.
Oh, okay. So all of it, steaks, ribs, you name it?
Well,
Fish?
my family has different tastes now. Rod really doesn't eat red meat too much anymore. He says it bothers his tummy. So I cook a lot of chicken, and I cook a lot of pork, and that's pretty much what I like to cook.
All right, great. Any grilling tips you want to share? That it's kind of I've seen many women who are experts in the grilling field, but I think the stereotype is that it's considered by most of society the man's job. Go out and burn the meat on the fire and bring it home and flop it on the table.
I know you're right. You're right. That's usually how it is seen, but I see a lot of women that are into grilling now too.
Well, women, great cooks, and why not?
Yeah.
I've been trying to encourage Vicki to do so.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, a big craze that's going on right now is the green egg.
Yes.
That is quite a...
do you have one?
I'm getting one this year.
Okay.
I have 2 clients that I'm working with, Sunnyland Furniture. They have the green eggs, and also Jackson's Home and Garden. And they do events a couple of times throughout the year, and they'll have chefs that'll come in and they'll do cooking demonstrations. And they say that green egg is just the flavors that come from the wood and the way that the meat turns out. It's just like nothing else like it. And you can cook pizza. You can cook everything in that green egg, and it comes out perfect every time.
Wow.
So I kind of like that you can go put it on there and forget about it.
Yeah, I've kind of walked by and looked at it longingly and kind of stroked it, and then it's an investment for sure, but
Right.
But that's a great endorsement that you make. If everything consistently just turns out perfect, I mean, that's a good investment then.
It is, because I think with the way that we're going with society and everybody stays so busy, it's nice to be able to cook and also cook healthy. You can cook vegetables. So much you can do with a green egg, or any grill for that matter. You can buy all the accessories that go with the grill, and you can put your vegetables. Rob likes my corn. I'll put the whole corn on there. Of course, take the silk out, and roasted corn like you get at the state fair.
Yeah.
And it's delicious on a grill.
Oh, making me hungry. Now, Tammany, you talked about, sort of the normal lifestyle of dining out in restaurants during the week and staying at home with the family and cooking healthy meals on the weekend. But are there some new restaurants that, since you're out so much, I think our folks watching Wining and Dining with Jim White might enjoy hearing some of your favorite new restaurant recommendations?
Well, I do have a few.
Yeah.
I'd like to mention. One is from the Lombardi Family Restaurants. Alberto Lombardi and his family do such an exceptional job with their restaurants, but they opened a new one recently at Legacy West, and it's called Kai, Kai. I highly suggest you go try that restaurant. They do great sushi. They also do Japanese. They do brunch on the weekend. It's incredible. Front Burner Restaurant Group always does a great job with all their brands. But the newest one that they have is the Haywire.
Yeah, Legacy
and the Food Hall.
Food Hall, yeah.
If you have not tried that Food Hall, oh my gosh. Speaking of Tiffany Deary,
yeah,
she has her fried chicken there, cooked in duck fat. And it is amazing. Cannot find any better chicken than her chicken right there. But it's everything for every palate, from pizza to Italian to crepes to donuts. You can just get everything. The Food Hall, those guys, Jack Gibbons and Randy DeWitt and Judd Faria, who's part of that group, they just do such an exceptional job. I hope they keep traveling around the world and bringing all these great concepts back here to Dallas, because we all benefit from it.
Well, my understanding in talking to Jack and Randy is that they are looking at building more of these food hall concepts in other markets around the country and kind of directing their business model toward doing that. So as we travel, we're going to have more opportunities to try the food hall concept, because, as you mentioned, it's great. It's kind of like a big party.
It is.
It's kind of stroll and
it really is.
Try this and try that, and let's have wine. Let's sample this.
Well, and they have the Box Hall, which is phenomenal. I don't know if everybody realizes, but they do great shows. They have entertainment and everything there. And Jim, you and I need to hop a plane with Vicki and Rob, and we need to go to Nashville when they open the Nashville one, because I understand that one is going to be twice as big as the one here in Dallas.
That is.
In Plano.
Yeah, just going to be exceptional. And it's in the vicinity, if I'm not mistaken, of Opryland and kind of all in that whole Music City vibe.
It is. It is. We're going to have to put that on our calendars.
Okay. I'm ready to go. Let's talk to those guys. Well, now, what would you be doing if you weren't doing your wonderful bestofguide.com service and all of the work you're doing with restaurants?
I never really think about retirement, Jim, because I love to go. I think my middle name should have been, instead of Ann, it should have been Go. But I think I would just do a lot more, work with a lot more charities, because I really like to help people, from our industry to the hospitality industry to any other cause that's out there, because there's so many of them, like we discussed early on. I would just like to dedicate my life to helping as many people as I can, as many charity groups as I possibly can.
Wow. That's a wonderful, wonderful sentiment. No, I wasn't suggesting that you should slow down or retire. I just, I often ask people, okay, if poof, everything changed and you hadn't done this, what do you think you might have done with your life or your career?
I've been so blessed. I've done so many different things. Even before the advertising, I was schooled in interior design. And that's, I love art. I love designing. I love creating. I think that's what drew me more to the hospitality industry as well, because in college I worked at Pizza Hut as a waitress. And that was my first entrance really into the hospitality industry. And I just fell in love with it, and didn't realize that I loved the advertising and marketing as much until Joan Stern, my mother-in-law, came to me and said, this will be your future someday. So you really need to stop what you're doing with the interior design and come and work with a family. And when I did that, it was just love at first sight. It got in my blood, and I haven't looked back, and I keep evolving. I keep trying new things. The print is what brought us to the party, but I keep bringing new things over and over again, reinventing. That's why we have the new app, the BOG Rewards app. And that's why we do a lot of now social media with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And with us, you can judge your ROI. Any small business that's out there that doesn't have a huge budget to promote their business and advertise, I do everything I can to get that business, instead of having one location, I want to see them have many locations. I want to see them be as successful as they can be. And that's what makes me the happiest.
That's great. Well, I know we always see your smiling face supporting all of the wonderful events, and I hope that continues for years and decades to come. And congratulations on your expanding extended family.
Thank you,
That's
Jim.
wonderful. And to your wonderful husband, Rob, you guys are just the best. And
Oh, he's such a saint.
yeah.
He's so sweet. I drag him to so many events, and he's such a good trooper. I'm so blessed. So blessed.
Well, folks, check it out, bestofguide.com, or download the app. Tammany, you want to give them the instructions again to download the app?
Yes, please download that app because we add things daily, and you'll really enjoy all the great restaurants and retailers that are in our city. And please send a text message on your phone. I'm sure most people have great cell phones these days that do everything. But send a text to 41411, and in the body of the text, you're going to type in BOG rewards all together. And it'll just send you a link back. And then whether you have an iPhone or you have an Android device, you can just click on that link and you can download our app and go have fun.
Yeah, go have fun. Go save money on restaurants and find out what's going around with all the great restaurants and events. So, Tammany, thank you for joining us, and I hope that 2019 is the very best year ever for you and Rob.
Thank you so much, Jim. And I wish everybody a very happy, healthy, and successful 2019. We're all blessed, very, very blessed.
All right. Tammany Stern, bestofguide.com, and Wining and Dining with Jim White is the show that you found here on Vocal. Thank you for joining us. And remember, if anybody asks you what you're making for dinner, tell them reservation.